Charlie loved this country, and he loved partnering with organizations that truly stand for what makes America great. One of our most trusted partners, AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is doing something special in Charlie's honor. AMAC is offering free memberships to all ages. No credit card, no strings attached, just a chance to stand for faith, family, and freedom. Join this movement. Go to amac.us/Charlie today. That is amac.us/Charlie today.
What advice would you give to a young kid that wants to do something similar to what you've done with their career as far as starting Turning Point USA and just impacting people?
So I started Turning Point USA when I was 18. I never went to college and ended up being a great decision for me. I took a gap year. Not everyone in this country needs to go to college. We have way too many people going to college in our country. Strive to be a better person every single day because your character is a reflection of your soul. Learn something new every single day. It doesn't matter where you go to college. It's just a piece of paper, honestly. What matters is who you are as a person. If you want to succeed, you also must be willing to keep pushing on and enduring when things get really, really tough. Take the relationships with people that are older than you very seriously and memorialize those conversations forever. So those smartphones, I think, are destroying our country, but one thing they're good for is they're really good at recording. They're good at recording voice memos or conversations. Next time you sit down with a grandparent or a business person, record those conversations. You're going to want them. When you encounter difficulty, train yourself to blame yourself. Train yourself to say, it's my fault. What did I do wrong? That's hard. Trust me. It's really easy to blame others. It might be somebody else's fault, but find something you could have done differently. And if you get in the practice of doing that, you'll be a stronger person. The final thing is this: immerse yourself in eternal knowledge. There's two types of knowledge: practical knowledge and eternal knowledge. Practical knowledge is who's the governor. Eternal knowledge, things that never change. We also call it wisdom. The more wise you are, the more cheerful and happy you will be. You live in a wonderful country. We got problems, we got ridiculous leaders, we got all that stuff. Man, what a gift we've been given. Don't get into the whole complaining that everything around me is terrible and awful. We talked about many of that. But believe that your actions matter, apply yourself accordingly, work harder every single day. And after a decade of that, I think you'll be in a pretty good place.
I wanted to clarify what I screamed earlier. I screamed the word yes. I was just really excited. But my parents immigrated here with basically no money from Vietnam.
Okay, because you said your parents were super rich from Vietnam. You screwed up my moment, man.
I know, I'm so sorry. I was just really excited.
So just to be clear, they came with almost no money from Vietnam.
Yeah, and now we
honestly, God bless your parents. They're great patriots. I'm glad you're here. So
we own our own private business, and I'm a living example of why white privilege does not exist. So let me get to my point. I'm a 17-year-old high school student.
Wow.
I drove an hour over here just to see you. I'm a member of the Turning Point USA chapter at my high school, and we actually hope to get Isabel Brown there soon. So my question is whenever I try to open up controversial topics at my school, no one ever really wants to talk about it because they just don't want to. And my question is it because politics just aren't for everyone or not? And should there be a age to when people should be able to talk about and have these conversations about politics?
All ages should talk about it. Only we shouldn't lower the voting age, though.
Yeah.
That's a very bad idea. But we should not lower the voting age. But I just want to applaud you, man, for your leadership at Turning Point. And I'd say, look, just look around, though. Look how promising this. People are standing here for hours just to hear about political, philosophical debates. That's a good thing, regardless of where you approach these issues. In high school, honestly, enjoy the fact that not everyone wants to talk about politics all the time, because it's actually kind of refreshing to hear that there's still a remnant of that. But
yes and no, I would say. And I just wanted to ask, this is a bit of an extreme example, but what age should the conversation be opened up, though, through politics? Like, should 8th graders be talking or debating about abortion?
Yeah, I think that probably 12 years old, let me think, 12 would be 5th or 6th grade. I think 5th or 6th grade is where politics should start to be discussed. Yeah.
Okay, and then
not too deeply, like a surface level. Yeah.
Yeah, and then my final question is for people who are still learning and growing their minds, like me, I'm 17. What would your advice to be for people who just want to debate more? And
so debate less and read more. So you got to read at least 100 books a year. Okay? 100 books a year. If you aren't reading 100 books a year, you're not serious about your intellectual journey. You might say that's too many. You can listen to them too, right? Spend less money on booze, alcohol, drugs, and nightclubs, and more money on audiobooks.
Okay.
Your life will be better. Trust me. I try to be a living example of that. I try to read 100, 120 books a year. I'm always listening to stuff, always reading stuff. I don't remember it all, but I remember a fair amount of it, and it just creates you into a happier, deeper, wiser person. And the more you dedicate yourself to reading, debating will become easier.
Okay.
I work as an after-school teacher for 4th to 5th graders. One of my questions is there any advice that I could give to the youth to help? Do you have any advice to give to the youth because of our corrupted society that we have now, of this social norm of the West especially? How can I help them and give them the whys, especially as a religious man?
I love that. Is that basic economics?
Yes.
Can I see that? That is a great book. You are a great teacher. Everyone should read this. By Thomas Sowell, by the way. Good for you, man. That's awesome. You want me to sign it?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, all right. That's very fun. That's right. Great question. So let's, you hit the most important element of education. So it should be about developing wisdom, not just knowledge. So wisdom is the understanding of things that do not change. It's the most important thing you could teach a young person. We're filled with knowledge-based institutions, and we are lacking wisdom-based institutions. Wisdom is understanding the deeper permanent topics that will be true 200 years from now, and they were true 200 years prior. For example, are human beings naturally good or not so good? What is good? What is evil, right? What is mercy? What is compassion? What is justice? What is truth? This is much more important for people to grapple with than, well, I could tell you who the 5 members of the California legislature are. That's fine, that's knowledge, but we are lacking in wisdom in the West. It is a crisis of wisdom. And here's the cool thing about wisdom. Anybody can access it at any time. It does not require a college degree. It doesn't require a special credential. Anybody can be wise. It just so happens the most common way people get wisdom is through what? Suffering. That's why old people are so wise, because they've suffered a lot. And through suffering, you end up getting a lot of wisdom. Good times do not make you wise. Sucky times do.
But I just want to talk a little bit about life, which is, I think that one of the things that students don't hear enough on college campuses is how do you live a happy and fulfilling life? You should be thankful for life. It's a gift. It's a beautiful thing. A true appreciation of the deeper and eternal things starts with wonder. When I was landing here today, I saw incredible natural beauty. I saw mountains that looked like they were literally on fire. You guys hear that all the time. It makes you wonder what else out there is beautiful and worth preserving. What else out there is eternal and elevated? What else out there is something that we should try to go above and beyond and make sure it doesn't get corrupted, and make sure that it doesn't get destroyed? And that starts with gratitude. It starts with being thankful. And the first thing is being thankful for life, thankful for consciousness, thankful for existence, thankful for things that are deeply, objectively good. And we as conservatives then, I kind of just say this in general, that we want to design a society that gives preference on your choices and your actions and your behavior, not on your complaints or your grievances or the mobilization thereof. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm perfectly, kind of on board with breaking up certain companies and using political power to try and make that easier. But generally, I think that it's very important for people to try and prioritize that the greatest battle you'll experience in life is the struggle within, that we must tell young people, that we must understand that it's self-control, that the improvement of your own character is the thing that you must prioritize above anything else. And it's a disservice to tell young people, you know what, the greatest struggle in life is you against racism. The greatest struggle in life is you against... No, the greatest struggle in life is you going to be able to control your own impulses, to work up early to go to work, to say that I want to become a better and more developed human being. And put very simply, we as human beings, thank you, we as conservatives believe that happiness is a choice. We're happy, regardless of how bad things are falling apart in our country. We're happy to be alive. We're thankful for our existence. Happiness is a choice. If you go around trying to find happiness, all of a sudden you'll seek pleasure over virtue. If you try to go find happiness as a state, it's nonsense. Happiness is a choice. It's a state of mind. It's something that you must commit yourself to. You must work at it too. You must say, man, what am I thankful for today? And I'm not trying to diminish suffering. Let me be very clear. Everybody here has something you're going through, and it's a serious thing. But that's not to say, what does it mean to live a fulfilling life? To walk around always looking at something worthy of protesting, tearing down, deconstructing, disassembling, or saying, man, if I made these 10 choices, if I stopped drinking, if I stopped doing drugs, if I stopped complaining, maybe my life will improve a little bit. Maybe if I all of a sudden start taking responsibility for my actions, I'll start to see the fruits of those choices. That's a fundamental difference. Because at the core, and I am not saying there are not public policy changes that need to be made. Trust me, there's plenty. But the real struggle that we must all understand is that it's you against you. That if you devote yourself to saying, you know what, I'll be happy as soon as we get universal health care. I'll be happy as soon as we get this person. That's never going to happen. The reason we have so many people searching for purpose in our country is because we have said to so many students, don't go find responsibility, go find immediate pleasure and gratification. That we must instead prioritize things that make you have to all of a sudden challenge yourself. Character is developed in the challenge. Strength rejoices in the challenge. And we sometimes need to say, you know what? It's a good thing that you got to live a little bit tougher of a circumstance right now as a 17, 18, or 19-year-old. It'll make you a tougher person in the long run.
All right, what's going on, man? First of all, just 2 points. Coming from someone in a situation like you, that you never went to college, but you became very successful. Coming from someone in a situation like you, that you've never gone to college, but you're successful doing Turning Point USA. What do you recommend to someone who's in a situation where I don't know what I want to do with my life, but unfortunately I'm at school, spending a bunch of money because I'm stupid?
No, that's okay. So I want to be clear.
That person is me.
Can I interrupt? You guys can make college into a success. When we say college is a scam, that's us saying that they're charging you too much money and the value proposition is inverted. But don't use that as a victim and say, oh, I can't get any value out of it. Find the value, hold on to the value. But please continue.
What about, well, how do you become successful without college?
Okay, yeah. So first of all, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm sure you're good at something.
No,
what is
fine.
your skill? If you had to say the thing I'm the best at.
I do love talking.
Okay.
I love dialogue.
Great.
I do love, I wouldn't say arguing, but I do like exchanging differences.
Great. So now you're in the you're already in the 1% of the country. 99% of people hate talking.
Fair,
in fact,
fair,
the greatest fear in America is public speaking more than death.
True.
So now all of a
Fair
sudden
enough.
you're in like a whole different category, right?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, every single job on every single company on the planet needs somebody that's good at communicating. Everyone,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So whatever it is that you do, try to gravitate towards the thing that you like and that you're good at, which is to explain.
Right.
Right? Whatever that is in a company, because there's a lot of people that might be really good, like, I don't want to give the presentation, you know,
Right.
and that, so you just kind of answer your own question. Here's the biggest thing. Be a lifelong learner. Don't stop learning just because you might not be in college. Are you freshman, sophomore?
I'm actually a senior.
Okay, get your degree. That's finish it. It's like, you know, you've already invested this much, get your degree in whatever it is. It'd be stupid not to. If you were a freshman, we might have a different discussion, okay?
Right.
So finish that out. And then if it's useful to you, great. If it's not, then so
Yeah.
be it. And then try to find things that is the intersection of your skill and your passion. That's where you're going to succeed the best in life.
Dating is a struggle. What's your advice to young conservatives, and also how do you feel about dating apps?
Yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of dating apps, but so I will have an opinion here that will really get people. You should not date people that have different politics than you. You should not. And I'm not. And the reason I believe you should date with the intent to marry. I don't think date is a hobby. I think dating is an interview process. And I know that is a minority opinion on most college campuses, where date is a mechanism for, I don't know, companionship amongst other things. It's gonna be tough. You're gonna have to hopefully only date people in alignment with your values, right? That doesn't mean you can't have friends with people that disagree with you, but dating's a very serious thing. So how do you go about doing that? Try to associate or marry or date somebody that does share your deeply held values. I think that's very, very important. And secondly, I will say this, which is men in general who have difficulty finding women generally have a couple problems. And this is not directed towards you. I just met you, okay? So please, we're good if I say this? Okay. Most men are beta males, okay, with very little to any detectable testosterone, like the radar is trying their best. Men, I believe, especially in this time of moral and societal chaos, need to get back into what it means to be a physically and mentally strong man, which I believe includes stopping watching pornography, which I believe means working out on a regular basis. And I believe also understanding that the most desirable quality that young ladies look for in men, according to my big survey of all of our listeners, is self-control. Is that young ladies say that they cannot find a young man who can control himself. That's a big deal. So put that all together. What are you supposed to do? Try to be the best version of yourself, and then be very clear with women and respectfully about what you want and your intent. A lot of men are intimidated by women, and I get it. It's because our entire culture has basically turned men to be intimidated by women. They might accuse you of something or whatever. I would encourage you to be very direct. Don't try this whole we're going to try the friend thing for a while. Just be a man and I like you, I want to take you on a date. Does that happen anymore? Maybe it does, probably not a lot.
My name is Grace. I'm 13, and I've been homeschooled since kindergarten. I really appreciate your podcast. Politics can be difficult for me to fully understand, but the way in which you present ideas makes it easier to grasp. My younger sister and I recently started watching the online Hillsdale College course regarding the Constitution. Which we've been enjoying. So this is my question to you. What advice do you have for me as I move into adulthood in order to become a more informed and involved citizen?
Well, first of all, thank you for being here, and I have hope thanks to people like you. How old are you again?
13.
13. So here's a couple things I want to encourage you to do. Learn something new every single day, and focus on what it means to be a good person and a person of strong character, and especially when you get into the world of trying to be around social approval and kind of everything around you. Courage is what's missing in our country. We have a courage crisis right now. Moral courage is the most necessary yet absent characteristic in men, George S. Patton. Aristotle, who you will learn about if you continue on the wonderful Hillsdale courses, and I'm glad you're already taking us. You're already well on your way. Aristotle said that courage is the ultimate virtue. Without it, there are no other virtues. Think about that. If people aren't courageous, you don't have honesty. You don't have justice. You don't have anything else you don't have beauty. You don't have wonder. If people don't have courage to act. And so at age 13, I want you to commit yourself to a life of courage. Courage is doing the right thing when you don't know how it's going to work out. Courage is committing yourself to the correct course of action, regardless of the cost associated to it. And I'm given hope by the amount of young homeschooling children that are rising up in our country. Now, let me tell you this. People say, Charlie, what does success look like? New York Times headline in 2050. America's sudden, shocking, and inexplicable right turn can be traced back to homeschooling explosion during COVID-19. That's what success looks like, everybody.